So my name is Martin Pegg and I work for East Lothian Council's Outdoor Learning Service. Over the past 8 years, Ross High ASN and ourselves, East Lothian Outdoor Learning, have worked in partnership to provide adventurous experience for Ross High ASN pupils. It was initiated by a member of staff within Ross High ASN, and what follows is just my series of questions to him about the programme and his responses. The programme is now run and continues to run with a very limited input from ourselves, from the Outdoor Learning Service, and has expanded from adventurous activity from canoeing to include now hill walking and climbing. Next. So first of all, as described as establishment, yeah, it's as you can see there, it's based within a secondary school within Ross High School, and it's got significant and complex additional needs there, and in total around 30 pupils, so class sizes of around 4 or 5. Next. So the partnership has been between myself and two others, which is the East Lothian Council Outdoor Learning Service team. And we're a small centrally based team. We work across 35 primaries and 6 secondary schools across East Lothian, helping staff to deliver teaching and learning outdoors. There are no direct teaching costs to school, and I appreciate a lot of you might not have that within your authority. We support with resourcing and staff technical input and training when required. So the initial help to this programme was staffing, but as the programme has developed, this has become we've done less staffing, and we've taken on a more supportive role and deployment of volunteers. Next. So the interest began when a member of staff from the unit came out on a sort of staff development course, if you like, and sea kayaking, and we were chatting about his work, and he did say, "I'd love to do this sort of stuff, within my work," and we got chatting and talked about what could be achieved, and the realization came that the sort of lots of sensory issues could be addressed on the water. And the unit were using, and still continue to use, sort of riding for the disabled, but there are weight limits and issues with the animals, where we knew there was no weight limits on these canoes that we could go, and also just for their own health and well-being within the staff, for them to be able to get out and enjoy the outside environment. Next, please. So barriers, there were lots of barriers voiced at the very beginning of this partnership. So not having engaged with adventurous activities previously, lots of concerns were raised regarding behaviour management, toileting, the staff taking part themselves, capsizing, cold, wet. I could go on. It was overcome by lots of talk, lots of chat, and taking things slowly. So as Ali mentioned previously about taking the outside in and the inside out, we went up to the school with canoes, with all the equipment, with buoyancy aids, with waterproofs, and we tried them on, water pistols, and covered them with water, and all sorts. The school did fundraising for transport, lots of local support, and the school had support of management. The pond that we use there is 4 kilometers from the school, and so the transport there, even though it's not a great distance, there still was motorized transport required. So all pupils and staff were given a chance to see and feel the equipment they would be using, and any previously unknown people. So we have a big, a sort of large pool of volunteers, and so we took in photographs if those volunteers weren't able to visit the school itself, so to show photographs there. We obtained some. We realized that for a lot of young people, putting things over the head was quite an issue, so we obtained some zip buoyancy aids, and then some larger sets of waterproofs as well, to make sure there was lots of space and stuff was easy to get on. The lead member of staff was supported by the establishment by Ross High to undergo the first level of instructor training and assessment from British Canoeing. And we went out and sought even more volunteers from across the communities. These volunteers included a local councillor, a member of a local canoe club, and sort of previous volunteers with outdoor learning. Initially, the programme was every Wednesday in the summer term. The transport was very flexible, so the transport that we managed to get meant that if young people need to be transported straight back, that could be done with ease. And many of the staff brought down their sort of own vehicles and all sorts. And we did have enough staff, so that worked really well with getting the volunteers in there. Everything was begun very slowly. So initially it was just one class of 4 that came down, and then sort of more and more increasingly the classes came down, and it sort of snowballed. So those fears that we had from the staff, me going in, or the lead member of staff saying, "Oh, it's all fine," didn't quite cut it. But their colleagues going in and saying, "Actually, we've been down there, and yeah, it works, and it's fantastic," really helped to snowball those things. So we weren't too ambitious at the start, and we eventually looked at bringing a mobile hoist and bringing more of the immobile young people into the program. The program expanded into hill walking and climbing. There's a sort of very small climbing wall within walking distance of the school, so there was no transport cost there. And now every year the school has a one-day festival of outdoor and adventurous learning for the whole unit on a date in June. And again, there's lots of partners brought in for this whole school day out. Next. And the impact that it's had, it's ongoing. There's health and well-being for all staff as well, confidence, socialisation, even for some certification from British Canoeing. We've taken out, again, as Ali talked about, taking things out and about with us. With use of letters, numbers, word markers across the water, leading to recognition, and going from one to the other, and sensory experiences. And one of the biggest things we've got from this is an appreciation from parents and carers on how capable their young people are, and this, being able to push them to do more, and seeing them achieve. Next. So I asked the member of staff who's now retired from the unit, is there anything, if you were to do it again, you would do differently to try and get this program up and running? And the answer was not much. It's just ensure that everything is done slowly. So it was about not biting off more than you could chew, and in small steps, so that everybody is on board and success achieved at each step, and any logistical issues can be addressed immediately. And the volunteer base has been developed in tandem with the increase in the size of the program. Next. So in terms of securing a legacy for the program is now an integral part of the school. The interested member, there's another interested member of staff who has previously come along, is now undertaking this paddle sport training, supported by ourselves. There is a local company now that has resource support from the council's outdoor learning service, and they draw down one council funding to deliver adventurous activities for ASN pupils and their families out with the curricular time. So many of these families are ones who have previously witnessed their young people taking part in adventurous activities through the school. So it continues into the community, and we're now working in partnership with this commercial company. We're now using these sessions to develop even more volunteers, and many of the parents and carers are now coming along to the sessions and being much more confident themselves in taking their young people out and about. So we're now trying to, with the success of the secondary program, we're now currently trying to develop a similar program with the primary hub, and again, taking it all very slowly and bit by bit, and trying to develop that volunteer base across there. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much, Martin. That was really, really lovely to hear just how it's just taken from one small spark of a canoeing trip with some staff and how that's grown and grown, and to help every child experience that you've overcome challenges and built capacity. And just really lovely to hear that, you know, parents have been delighted in the experiences and successes of their children and young people and how it's grown into the community. So thank you very much. And there's just some kind of comments in the chat coming through there about what a lovely opportunity to share feedback with parents and carers on what learners can do. Just absolutely love it. Someone's saying there. And a kind of wee question there, just what special equipment did we have to make the canoes accessible and safe? A wee comment there for Andy's, maybe a question for you, Martin.
Yeah, so I can answer that. None at the beginning. We didn't have anything that we wouldn't have normally. We managed to get a couple of bean bags, which would be used in the outdoors just to give some back supporting. And then our commercial partner, that I talked about earlier, they then got some funding from Tesco, and they've gone on to purchase some definite supportive chairs from specifically developed for supporting young people in canoes. But other than that, it's about sort of making do with what we've got and making people as comfortable as we can. The bean bags, as I say, were worked really well.